3. All right, good evening, everybody. We will call this regular scheduled commission meeting to order tonight. Today is February 23rd, time is approximately 7 p.m. First item is the approval of the agenda as published. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Second.
That was Commissioner Farnsworth and Commissioner Mazon?
No.
Commissioner Long? Okay, all right. And any discussion on the approval of the agenda? Zero. Any from the public? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, unanimous. All right, the next item will be the invocation, and this is just a reminder for the dais. Primarily, the microphones are connected to the video, so unless you turn on your microphone, the video will not automatically hone in on you when you are speaking. So, Ms. Glanzer, Pastor Glanzer, I invite you up to give us our invocation. Please stand if you can and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance that will follow.
Thank you. Pray with me. Heavenly Father, this evening we come here grateful to belong to this loving community where we grow our families, help our neighbors, and work together to make Newberry the best it can be. We appreciate the time and attention our elected officials and staff spend to make that happen. Tonight we ask you to give comfort to our brothers and sisters in blizzard conditions up north, and we are thankful that we may be cold here but not frozen. As we gear up for elections in our town, we pray for civility to rule, as we know it is not one against another, but is all for one purpose, serving our citizens at the highest level. And finally, Lord, help us remember to celebrate the diversity in our community and know that each and every single citizen has something to contribute to make our town the fine place it is. The smallest voice is often as powerful as the largest. Bless this board tonight with wisdom and charity as they move our city forward. In thy precious name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir. So the first item we have tonight is actually a presentation, the proclamation celebrating and thanking Miss Kalita Wilcox. So I am going to have the pleasure of reading this proclamation into the record, and then we'll get some pictures, and we'll probably take a little extra time getting some family photos and that sort of thing while we do that, okay? So here we go. Proclamation of the City of Newberry, Florida, celebrating and thanking Miss Kalita Wilcox. Whereas Miss Kalita Wilcox is a proud native of Archer, Florida, having been raised in our community and graduating as a member of the class of 1982. And whereas Ms. Wilcox devoted more than 30 years of service to the state of Florida, including 18 years working in corrections, demonstrating a lifelong commitment to public service, responsibility, and care for others. And whereas she continues that spirit of service through her faith and volunteerism, serving on the usher board at Bethel Church in Lake City, volunteering weekly at food distributions in Archer, and personally delivering food to neighbors who are unable to attend in person. And whereas Ms. Cox serves as a poll worker during elections, further exemplifying her dedication to civic engagement and community trust. And whereas she is a devoted mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother who leads by example through kindness, generosity, and quiet compassion. And whereas as a crossing guard for the city of Newberry, Ms. Wilcox has gone far beyond her duties, ensuring not only the safety of our children, but also bringing joy to their days, whether through holiday gifts, cold popsicles on warm spring afternoons, or unforgettable moments like leading reindeer antler-clad students across the crosswalk during the holidays. And whereas her many acts of kindness are rarely known because she does not seek recognition, choosing instead to serve others humbly and wholeheartedly. And whereas Ms. Cox has rightfully been selected as Crossing Guard of the Year, an honor that reflects her dedication, compassion, and the proud impact she has on the children and families of Newberry, Now therefore that the city of Newberry does hereby recognize and celebrate Kalita Wilcox for her outstanding service to our community and commend her for her unwavering commitment to the city, well-being, and joy of our children, and for her lifelong example of selfless service. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Newberry to be affixed this 23rd day of February, 2026. Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Wilcox, before we do photos, is there anything that you wanted to say? You can stand over to the podium and just give a word of encouragement if you want.
No, there's not anything I really want to say. You know, this is overwhelming. But one thing that comes to my mind is a gospel song that I grew up hearing that says, "May the work I've done speak for me." And, you know, when I'm resting in my grave, there is nothing more that can be said. Just let the work that I've done speak for me. And that's how I feel. I don't expect recognition. Just, you know, I'm overwhelmed. I really am. Thank you.
But you're going to get it tonight.
Mr. Mayor, while you're getting that first picture, I would like to offer the opportunity for the sheriff, if you wanted to say anything on the microphone while we're getting that picture. We appreciate you being here tonight to support Crossing Guard of the Year, Miss Kalita Wilcox.
Absolutely. Mayor, City Attorney, City Manager, Commissioners, I'm Sheriff Chad Scott with the Alachua County Sheriff's Office. I am truly honored to recognize my homegirl, someone that I actually grew up around my whole life. You know, public service is a big deal, you know, especially when we're recognizing people from our community that's giving back. You know, everybody at the Alachua County Sheriff's Office is very important. It matters. You know, she's our first point of contact with our kids. If you see something, you say something, right? So she developed that trust in our kids, and especially with a familiar face that know all the kids, that know all the families, that it makes a difference. You know, it takes a village to raise the kids. And as the sheriff, I would like to say I'm honored. I'm glad the city manager called me this morning because, you know, I wanted to be here, so, and I made it my business to be here. So thank you for what you do. Thank you. Yeah, we'll get it there. We'll get it. Let them get it. We got plenty of time. All the different.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah. He's gonna jump in there. All right. Which one do you look at? Oh, you look like the old.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, while other folks are getting up, I just want to echo what the sheriff and what the mayor read in that proclamation. I've had the opportunity to stand at Mrs. Wilcox Station there for a few days, and had the pleasure of talking with her. And she not only knows the name of every kid, but she knows the time that kid's going to be coming. She'll look at her watch and say, now, this kid is late. Where's he at now? She's waiting. The town rolls down the window and hollers out at her. She also knows when the kid needs shoes, coats. So if anybody wants to donate, you know where you can find her every morning at about 7 to 7:30. If you can't make it, bring it to City Hall. I'll get it there to her. But the kids walk by and she talks about, yes, this kid has to come. She knows the distance that they travel. She knows their families. She knows the time. I mean, it's just an amazing community outreach. As the sheriff said, she's the first contact, right? So we want all of y'all to get pictures. Go ahead. But I just wanted to say that while y'all are here.
Absolutely.
And if you guys want to use the dais, Alex can stand in the back too.
All right, well, we will continue on. They're going to go outside and take pictures in the lobby next to the city seal. So let's take a look at public announcements. These are 2-minute announcements, yard sale, events, et cetera, et cetera. Anyone from the public have something they want to bring up?
Good evening, Michelle Sherfield with the Alachua County Sheriff's Office. And I just wanted to announce that on today, we had our first work day at our substation. We're going to be doing that every fourth Monday of the month. We will be open from 10 to 2, and it is for the residents to be able to come if they've got questions, concerns, need our assistance with something, because we know it is a journey to come from Newberry all the way to the sheriff's office. You almost need to pack a lunch. So, a part of the Sheriff Scott's vision is to make sure that we are visible and that we are seen as a part of the community beyond the 911 call. So I just wanted to let everyone know, we've put some signs up in the library, at the post office and all, but if you'll spread that word, every fourth Monday we'll be here and we can answer questions, and if we don't know the answer, we can get the answer for you. In addition, I know that there may have been a little mumbling because of the new stop sign and the the presence of the deputies stopping to give warnings, because we know if you're not used to seeing it, you won't see it, you'll go right by it. So anybody today that was stopped just got a warning, but going forward, there's gonna be enforcement of the stop sign, so.
Well,
And the sheriff is here and he can take the heat for it, but we want everybody to be safe. We want everybody to be safe.
absolutely. No, I think it helps draw attention to the new change and everything, and
Yeah.
you can only do so much. But
That's all you can
as long
do.
as we do what we can, that's good. No, we appreciate it. So fourth Mondays, 10 to 2, correct?
Yep, fourth Monday's 10 to 2.
Okay.
At our substation, which is right on Newberry Road at the Ultimate Boat and
RV storage.
RV store. Yeah, right next door
It
to
used to be a
that.
vet office. Used to be the vet office right on the end.
All right, thank
ma'am.
you.
Appreciate it. Anybody
Ms.
else?
Sherfield, sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a flyer that you can email us, we
Yes.
can post it on our TV in the lobby too,
Okay.
for residents to view.
I will email you that in the morning.
Yes, ma'am.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, going once, going twice. All right, wonderful. So we'll move to consent agenda. There's a couple items on the consent agenda. Being consent agenda, it's not a debatable necessarily, other than to take something off potentially, but if there's no issues, I'll hear a motion at this time. Commissioner Mazon with the motion, a second from Commissioner Long. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, unanimous. Okay, Madam Attorney, be ready. Public hearing and announcements, small scale future land use map, amendment to public facilities. You got something to read for us on first reading for this ordinance change?
I do, Mayor. This is ordinance number 2026-19, an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, amending the future land use map of the City of Newberry Comprehensive Plan by changing the future land use categories from commercial, recreation, and residential low density to public facilities and land on 9 city-owned properties identified as tax parcel numbers 02183-001-000, 02353-000-000, 02354-001-000, 02351-000-000, 02463-001-000, 02462-001-000, 02466-001-000, 02467-010-000, and 01981-008-000, located in Newberry, Florida, providing for exclusion from codification, correction and directions to the city manager, providing a severability clause, providing a repealing clause, and providing directions to the clerk and an effective date.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. Ms. Hectus, you're going to walk us through this one?
I am.
You have the floor.
Thank you. Oh. Over there. There we go. All right. Oh, okay. It's going to fall off, though. Good evening. This is our future land use map amendment for city-owned parks, ordinance 2026-19, CPA 2608. We have, at the regularly scheduled Planning and Zoning Board meeting in February, the board recommended to the City Commission to approve ordinance 2026-19 CPA 2608, amending the future land use map from commercial, recreation, and low-density residential to public facilities and land on city-owned properties. This meeting will be held, the second reading, will go ahead and be held in March, March 9th here at this chambers. I'm not used to this mouse. Okay. So here are the parcels. Whoops, they're not coming in. Sorry. Sorry. Yes, I guess so. Okay. Well, oh, now it's way past. There we go. There we go. It's registering now. I'm going to go ahead and put them all up there. So as you all are very well aware, because many of you were on the dais when the Public Facilities Zoning District was created, that district was created for properties that were going to be owned by the city to have the appropriate designation for public facilities. It's a government use, and it also is a public-private partnership use. So we took a look at all the city-owned parcels, and we've now divided them up into three categories that we're going to be bringing to you over the next few months through April. The first round were the smaller parks that we have. We went ahead and we're taking those from those different zoning designation or future land use designations mentioned before. We're bringing them forward for you all to take a look at for changing the land use to public facilities on them. We're going to bring you a second round next month on the larger parks like the Champions and the Easton, the ones that need large-scale map amendments. And then we're going to bring the third one back to you in April roughly, and that's all the other city-owned properties. So we're talking ponds, other parcels that we're owning throughout the city, and we'll give them those public facilities designations as well. So here's the parks that we've been discussing: the Martin Luther King Park, Lois Fort, Berry Park, Jimmy Durden. Those are all listed here.
Why are we doing this?
Excuse me?
Why are we doing this?
Need to put their microphone on so the camera goes to you.
Why are we doing this?
So many governments, when you have your own property, you will designate them public facilities so that you have the ability to basically have the right to do what you need to do on the properties. Many of our parks are expanding and growing right now, and our current recreational impervious coverage is only 20%. And many of these parks, you're looking at Easton, you're looking at Champions, and some of that needs to be a little greater. And in the public facilities, it's increased so that you can continue to expand on those parks.
Mr. Mayor, I'd also add that that just brings conformity to everything the city has. Everything the city has is going to be converted to PF. It also means that we, as our own internal team that goes out and does the inspections, right, we can do that internally, and we cut down some of the red tape that I'm always hearing about.
Okay.
Cut the red tape.
Yep. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I just couldn't figure it out. I mean, it's ours, so why are we worrying about it? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because
It's a
we like to
designation.
follow our own rules,
We
Commissioner.
do.
So we pass our own rules are on us too. Yeah.
So because these are the smaller parks, this will be the small scale future land use map amendments to these facilities. Like I said, you'll be seeing the larger ones coming up and then the other properties coming up.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And I'm here to answer any questions if you have any.
There's no.
Anybody
dumb-
else besides
There's no dumb questions,
No.
Monty.
Commissioner Mazon? Oh, you are okay. All right, if there's no further discussion from the dais, is there any from any from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. Come on up, Paul.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Just a quick comment. I raised this at the P&Z meeting when this was brought up. My wife and I love Lois Ford Park. We're there about every afternoon walking our dog. I see the city utility yard is right across the street. I'm just concerned that down the road, if things are not very specific, as far as the definitions and use, that Lois Ford or other parks could be altered in a way that may not serve the public in its best interest. So, I mean, I'd hate to see, oh, we need a new barn at the utility yard, let's just go across the street and we'll put it down at the end, nobody will notice, you know, that kind of thing. So if there could be some specific language written in there to ensure that the parks stay as parks. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I'm happy to respond to that. As we just actually had the opportunity to discuss, this commission can't really do anything that binds a future commission to undo it. However, after speaking with every single one of you, I can assure the residents that we have zero expectation of reducing or eliminating any parks. The only conversation on this dais is expanding those parks, bringing more parks. So the plan right now is to move the public works out of the downtown center and get them onto the environmental park and take the rest of Lois Fort to expand over to that so that we expand the park offering. So only the guys, the people that sit up here right now can make promises of what they're going to do right in this minute. None of us can bind anyone's hands 10, 15, 20 years from now. But I can tell you that's the current plan. And my plan is to get it done so quick that it's there and it's great and the town loves it. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anybody else? Seeing none, if there's no further discussion on the dais, I'll entertain a motion at this time. Commissioner Clark and Commissioner Clark and Commissioner who? Mazon? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Motion passes unanimous. The next item is the rezoning on those properties. It is quasi-judicial, so we will cease being a legislative body. We'll become a judicial body. When entering in a quasi-judicial procedure, this means that the commission will stop being that legislative body and will become a judicial board, which means that we have to follow certain rules and adhere to different standards of decision-making. The primary rule we must follow concerns testimony, and the substantial and competent evidence standard must be met when the judicial board makes a decision. The standard states the following, quote, all public testimony will be taken under oath. Everyone testifying will be subject to cross-examination. All documents and exhibits shall be entered into evidence. The giving of opinion testimony is limited to experts. Closing arguments will be limited to the evidence of record. Now I'm going to ask the city attorney to read into the record the ordinance or resolution by title only.
This is ordinance number 2026-20, an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, amending the official zoning atlas of the City of Newberry Land Development Regulations by changing the zoning districts from Commercial Central Business District, Residential Mixed Single Family / Mobile Home -2, and Residential Single Family -2 to public facilities on 9 city-owned properties identified as tax parcel numbers 02183-001-000, 02353-000-000, 02354-001-000, 02351-000-000, 02463-001-000, 02462-001-000, 02466-001-000, 02467-010-000, and 01981-008-000, located in Newberry, Florida, providing for exclusion from codification, correction and directions to the city manager, providing a severability clause, providing a repealing clause, and providing directions to the clerk and an effective date.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, or Madam Attorney. Madam Clerk, could you swear in the applicant's staff and any participants requesting to speak at this time? They may be collectively sworn.
Please raise your right hand and state your name.
Stacy Hectus. Lauren Yetter.
Thank you. Do you swear or affirm that the information you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Yes.
Thank you. You've been duly sworn.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before we begin, we need to disclose any ex parte communications and disclose whether any member physically inspected the property. Ex parte communications are any conversation or transmission of information that may have bearing or influence on any voting member's decision. We'll start with disclosures from my immediate right, Commissioner or Board Member Mazon.
No, sir.
Board Member Long. Board Member Farnsworth. Board Member Clark.
Visited every farm.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Is that okay, Madam Attorney? Okay, that's no bearing on it.
And Board Member Coleman? None. And I have none either, although I'm not a voting member of this board. Now going to explain the order of presentations that we do for every quasi-judicial item before us. So we'll have a staff overview. The applicant, who is ourselves, will present, and then we'll be able to cross-examine ourselves. Public comment will be given 3 minutes. I've not been contacted by anybody wishing to claim intervener status. And then we will move to cross-examination. Members of the decision-making body through the chair may ask questions at that time of staff and applicant and any of the participation. Final argument can then ensue from the applicant, party, or staff related solely to the evidence and testimony presented at the hearing. City attorney will advise the decision-making body of the applicable law and factual findings that must be made to approve or deny the application, and then the deliberation on the application, after which time we will take a vote to approve with conditions, or continue or deny the application. Ms. Hectus, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening again. This is the rezoning, the companion rezoning for the future land use amendment you just heard. Ordinance 2026-20, LDR 2610. See if I can go the right direction this time. Oh, there we go. Oop. Okay. So the planning board saw this item at their last scheduled meeting, and they voted to approve ordinance 2026-20, LDR 2610, to amend the official zoning map. If this is approved this evening, that second reading will be on Monday, March 9th, right here in this room. I'm gonna go ahead and put all the maps up there. These maps represent the same, these are the same maps for the future land use that you just saw. These are the companion rezonings for those same maps to public facilities, or those same properties to public facilities. And I can answer any questions you have related to the companion rezonings on those parcels.
Before we get to the board and deliberations, let me hear if there's any public comment. You'll have 3 minutes. Going once, going twice. All right. And then we'll move to cross-examination. Obviously, this is a little modified since we are self-applying. I don't know if is that the right word?
City initiated.
At this time, does the board have any members of the staff they can ask through the chair? Seeing none, I assume you're not going to make any final argument.
I am not going to argue
Madam
with
Attorney,
myself.
could you please advise the decision-making body of the applicable law and factual findings?
Yes, Commission, you must weigh the evidence that you've heard this evening, both verbal and in your backup, and base your decision only on competent, substantial evidence.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. If there's no other deliberations, I'll entertain a motion. Board Member Clark, and a second from Board Member Farnsworth. All those in favor of the motion to approve, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have that as well. Motion passes unanimous. All right, agenda items. This is discussion only on code section 4.2.41 for commercial kennels, veterinary clinics, and small animal boarding, section 4.4 agricultural zoning district, and section 12.2 of the special exception. Ms. Hectus, I have you on presenter for this one as well.
Yes.
You have the floor. And we are back into legislative session.
Okay, good evening again. As Mayor just mentioned, this is examination and discussion on code section 4.2.41, commercial kennels, veterinary clinics, and small animal boarding facilities, internal LDR 2609. So the recommendation this evening is to provide direction to the staff for an ordinance to bring back at a later date. The City Commission can keep the language as is with changes to the minor Scrivener changes that we know need to be made to make it consistent with the comprehensive plan and to make enforcement a little more realistic. Direct staff to change language per discussion this evening, as well as the input that I'll share with you from the Planning and Zoning Board, or table the item for further discussion.
Mr. Mayor, before Stacy moves on, could I just make one public comment? I've heard some Facebook chatter and I've heard some things in public meetings about how we got here. I want to say that we're here because of me. There's not an elected official that asked to discuss this. There's not a staff member that asked to discuss this. We're here because a person came in to do the right thing and get a business license. And we said, nope, this doesn't fit. But in all of my time up here and to this date, we have not one complaint about kennels. I know my board values private property rights. I know my board values commercial businesses. I know we're all trying to put food on the table. So hearing about that conversation, I said, I think this is a conversation we need to bring to the commission to decide if this is something that we want to have a path forward. That's how we got here. Nothing has been decided. Not one thing has been decided. It is a conversation. It was a conversation at the P&Z. It's a conversation tonight based on my perception of this board's values. And it's a conversation that you can say no, you can say yes, you can have some conditions there. But if anyone's mad about how we got here to the conversation, you can point that anger at me because I said, that sounds like a pickle, right? That sounds like something my board would appreciate having an avenue forward. Let's bring it forward and ask the question, right? Staff didn't bring it forward. Nobody up here brought it forward. This was a resident came in trying to do the right thing, right? And I said, yeah, that sounds like something there should be a path forward for. Let's talk about it to see if there is a path. That's how we got here. Nobody on staff, nobody here. This is Jordan Marlowe. Just making that clear.
Thank you, sir. Madam Hectus?
Thank you. So we did receive an application for a special exception. We've also received a few phone calls regarding the same type of issue located in the agriculture zoning areas. So we, as staff, are responsible for examining the comprehensive plan. After we started looking at the code section, you always look at the comp plan too. We found some discrepancies in the title through the comprehensive plan, so we wanted to make sure we brought that forward and corrected it so that the language matches the comprehensive plan. And then it was we found by doing that examination, we found the discrepancies. So we're gonna make sure we bring those changes forward in the ordinance to you as well. And then we're gonna continue to keep going through the code sections and examine any possible changes. There, like I had mentioned earlier, there's one of the code sections, which sections of the code we'll talk about where enforcement's almost impossible. We'd like to remove that because we don't want to have rules and regulations that can't be enforced. And the end result would possibly would be to allow these types of uses in some of the agriculture areas of the city, other agriculture areas of the city. So we've taken the code section itself and kind of broken it into two. One is the current code as it relates to the arterial highway requirement. And these answers that we have in here are my summary of what the Planning and Zoning Board had commented on. So they were okay with the A section, which was increasing the minimum acreage to 5 acres. Staff made that suggestion because the minimum acreage in agriculture is 5 acres. So it was 4, we brought it up to 5. That's something that's on the table for discussion. Do we want it to be even larger than 5 acres to have this type of kennel or commercial kennel or veterinary office on our arterial highway bigger than 5 acres? We'll see. PZB was also okay with less setbacks on the arterial highways. And they wanted staff to clarify and strengthen the buffer language regarding the fencing and things to that nature. Staff has already started that examination of other codes. And again, the difficult to enforce, which I'll show you that code section in a minute. It was basically trying to find out if these dogs have been staying there longer than 30 days at a time. It's nearly impossible to figure that out. So the second proposal, after talking to the Planning and Zoning Board, we saw that there was 2 different ways to go: the arterial highway, which is a current code, or the non-arterial highway section in the ag districts. And that was 5 or 10 acres minimum. PZB was okay with the 5, keeping the 5 from the change from before. And discussion related to closer setbacks since residential homes can be closer. And they had a discussion back and forth and didn't settle on anything based on the number of dogs. So that was the other part that was going to be brought up this evening to potentially get to. At that same Planning and Zoning Board meeting, there were 5 members of the public that spoke regarding the item, and generally they were not in favor of a reduced setback and were not in favor of an option number 2 off the non-arterials. Here's the code section as it reads today. And the A was the minimum acreage, which we had talked about, which off of the arterial highways, 5 acres may be appropriate. It had 4 acres in it, yes? Sure.
The reason it's 4 acres is because your home is curtilage. So I think we should keep it at 4. I'm probably too premature bringing it up, but the reason why it is with the state, let's say that they own 5 acres. Mm-hmm. The home that's sitting there, if they're doing it from their home, that's called curtilage. And that has nothing to do with an ag parcel. So that's the reason. It's gotta so the total amount will be 5 acres. Mm-hmm. But one of those acres is curtilage. So if you're saying the minimum amount, are you saying, excuse me, the minimum amount of ag property or the minimum amount of with the curtilage?
I know that wasn't really even contemplated at the PZB, so
No.
that kind of shed some light on that number.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Mr. Mayor,
Sir?
to that specific point, I would point out that we do have subdivisions that are 5 acres. So if the commission wants to move forward with 5 acres, I would ask for some language that says not in a subdivision, not a neighborhood. Or I would say if you make it a 10-acre parcel, that cuts out that issue completely. You're not talking about people that are in 5-acre subdivisions in neighborhoods. You've removed that completely. So again,
Okay.
just either one or the other. It's just conversation, but some direction on that would be good.
Ms. Hector, do you want to just get interrupted as we go
Yeah,
along,
that's fine.
or you want to wait?
I'm making notes because
Well, we can do this.
you'll have to vote on what direct, or you'll have to tell me what direction at the end. So if I make the notes, I can go back and summarize what we discussed.
So, okay. So if you got questions as we go, just fire them off.
Thank you for not scolding me for interrupting you.
Never.
Stacy, before you get further down the line, since I was going to wait and making some notes here,
Okay.
if we'll go back to the Planning and Zoning Board discussion. I personally wouldn't want to see nothing in 5 acres like this. I'm a 10 acre or more, so there again, that'll be as things move forward.
Yep, we'll vote.
For discussion.
You'll give me direction,
Right.
yep.
So I'm definitely 10 acres or more. And I would love to understand what has been found out on the buffer language, opaque fencing. Has there been anybody that has looked into this? And if so, what have we found?
So staff has looked at 3 different jurisdictions, of which
Okay.
I have not summarized them yet.
Okay, so we have some information.
Yep.
And then I'm definitely not good with the setbacks. I think living in the country, even though I can hear dogs, I live on 43 acres and I hear right across from me. But I think anybody, the way our properties are split up, I'm a 300-foot guy. I like the 300-foot setbacks if we're talking about something like this, because we're on big parcels anyway. I don't know what all the land we're discussing here. I know I've heard it, but I can't remember of all the land, but that's fine. These are just some of the thoughts for now.
It's not specific either. This
Okay.
is a general discussion
And so
citywide.
definitely this, these setbacks and these acreage would be not for me.
Okay, so you want the bigger acreage and the bigger setbacks.
That's one of the things that I'm reading through this here on the planning and zoning, but anyway, that's just some food for thought, and I'll continue to listen on your,
All right.
on your discussion. But I would like to know on barriers, buffers, and anything once you get to that. Thank you, ma'am.
We don't have it tonight.
Oh.
We've taken a look at 3 different jurisdictions.
Okay.
We're going to compile it for the ordinance when we come back, for a buffet of choices for you. A buffet of buffers.
And Ms. Mary, just to be clear, when this comes back, it may come back as another conversation, depending on how disparate the thoughts are here tonight. Even before we embark on trying to write all of these different thoughts up, we may say, okay, here's what we thought we heard. Let's talk about it one more time, because it is just a conversation.
That is correct. We may have to come back for clarification. Whoops, wrong way. Whoa, way wrong way. So we just discussed the minimum lot area, the 4 acres. Thank you for the explanation. This is the actual code section as we speak, and this piece of the code, the current code, is for arterial highways. That's a 26, 27, 41, 45 type scenario. And as we discussed it in the Planning and Zoning Board, we had talked about those 2 options that we thought may be same code section, two pieces of it. The structures housing the dogs or other domesticated animals, excepting horses and livestock, which is separately addressed, shall be completely enclosed and designed to suppress noise. Noise from the boarded animals at the property line shall be subject to the city's noise regulations. The city structures housing dogs or other domesticated animals and any outdoor areas allocated for use, so runs or the such, for use by such animals shall be located a minimum of 50 feet from any property line and 200 feet from any residential zoning district. Agriculture's considered, not considered a residential zoning district. There are homes in agriculture, but it's not considered a residential zoning district, so the setback doesn't have to be the 200 feet from any residential zoning district. It has to be, but ag is not. This is specifically discussing ag. A minimum of a 25-foot landscape buffer shall be provided between the facility and adjacent properties. Again, that was one of the things that the PZB said we'd like to get more information on. We might want that to be greater going forward. The use of outdoor areas by animals shall occur no earlier than 7 a.m. and no later than 9 p.m. That's our noise ordinance timeframes. Overnight boarding shall be limited to no more than 30 consecutive days. How is Greta ever supposed to figure that out without getting manifests every month from them? So that's one of the ones we want to eliminate. And the veterinary clinics that do not provide overnight boarding services, they're not subject to the 4-acre minimum. We were going to do some wordsmithing and possibly merge that into the top part of the code there under A or B, I couldn't remember. A, I think it was. So I wanted to bring to your attention, just as you're making these decisions, that the ag zoning, this is only permitted in these that we're discussing for these types of commercial kennels that need special exceptions in the ag zoning district. I wanted to bring forward to you what some of those uses are that are other special exceptions located in the agriculture districts. And those are listed here. I'm not going to read them all, but you can see there's livestock auction. These all need special exceptions, so they got to come to y'all. Livestock auction arenas, sawmills and planing mills, agriculture equipment and related machinery sales, feed and grain packaging, fertilizer storage and sales, boarding stables. Number 10 is where we're coming from on the special exceptions. Commercial kennels, veterinary clinics, and animal shelters, provided that no open runs or open air structures used for housing of animals shall be located within 300 feet of any lot line. Commercial kennels, veterinary clinics, and animal shelters meeting the criteria outlined in section 4.2.41 may be located within 50 feet of any adjacent property line.
So,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you. Okay, when you're dealing with ag, okay, let's see, my house, even though, let's go ahead and say it's curtilage plus 5 acres or whatever. It's actually, I think it's 18 acres. And then I got 80 acres behind me. So do you see where I'm fixing to come with this? Because where does this 300 feet when you're already ag?
Right.
You see where I'm at?
Mm-hmm.
Most people, they have more than most that have ag have more than one parcel of ag. It's rare now to even see 5-acre parcels in ag, and that's it. So I don't see where the 50 of any, here you got within 50 feet of any adjacent property line. That's, maybe it should be wrote in there that 50 feet unless you don't own the adjoining property. And maybe I'm different than most people, but like you got, how many parcels is yours over there?
What if the adjacent property is in a business name versus the personal name?
I have two parcels.
Right, that's what I thought.
That's 43 acres.
So,
How
what do you mean?
So if I have my personal property and adjacent, I've got 80 acres that's in Martin LLC.
That's still owned by you.
Okay, I'm just,
It's still, well, the big thing
Yeah, I'm
is
just
that you have
asking.
like he just said, it's still ag.
yeah.
Because, I mean, somebody over here that I know has about 50 goats.
I don't do goats.
I thought those were your,
Cows.
I know, but I thought those were your goats. But I'm sure they're not all on that 5 acres or whatever it is. So, I think if you're ag, 50 feet is kind of irrelevant.
So the going to the 300 feet that's based on the open runs or open air structures used for housing of animals. That has to be 300 feet from the lot line. The 50 feet is shall be located within 300 feet of any lot. Commercial kennels, veterinary clinics, animal outlined in 4.2.41 may be located within 50 feet of any adjacent property line.
And probably add a little verbiage in there saying, unless you own
the adjacent parcel?
I don't know, that's for us to discuss.
Yes, yeah, I've listed that as a discussion item.
But what if you decide to sell that parcel later down the road?
Well, you know, there's a kennel there now.
That's not fair.
At one point, I did want to make to everybody's point. This is nothing and has nothing to do with hunting dog kennels. This is for commercial kennel purposes. This is not for hunting dog discussion. Nothing like that. Just wanted everybody to be clear.
I agree with you, I didn't even think about that, what if they sell the parcel, but I guess they're buying the parcel knowing that the kennel is right next door. I don't know, that's kind of,
That's why we're discussing.
I just hate telling somebody what they, especially an ag parcel, of what they can do with can and can't do with their property. That's why
Yeah.
I'm really hesitant here.
Yeah. So there's another list, a few more listed after 10 there, about the other special exceptions that are required to come to see you in our ag zoning districts.
I can build an airplane, I can have airplanes come in and out, that's loud.
You could have an airplane landing field if you meet the minimum qualifications. They do.
Mr.
yeah.
Mayor, just on that point, one of the conversations I've had most frequently with residents is this expectation that in ag you get quiet. And I've lived in ag my whole life, and I hear chainsaws, I hear tractors, I hear wells, I hear people shooting guns, I hear generators on wells. I have 3 neighbors that do keep hunting dogs, right? That we're not talking about tonight that I hear. So ag is just a different kind of noise. But a lot of times people move out from the city, they think, oh, I live in the country. It's going to be pristine quiet. No, it's going to be you're going to hear donkeys screaming in the middle of the night. That you've ever heard a donkey scream
Are
in the
you
middle of the
sure
night.
they're donkeys?
It sounds like a lot like a woman being murdered, right? So you just have to get used to it, right?
Yes.
So it's just a good reiteration that ag does have noise.
Yeah, that's very good, I like that.
A few more continuations of the special exceptions that would be coming to you all in our ag zoning district. So the piece that we wanted to absolutely fix through this, which we will be bringing back to make sure are consistent, is the language that's in the comprehensive plan versus the LDRs. So we'll be fixing it. It's a very small change that we'll be making, but when we were doing the research on it, that's when we noticed there was a discrepancy between the title, and so we wanted everything to be consistent. So I thought that was on this slide. I apologize. These are more continuation of some of the things that are located in our ag. Oh, here it is. This is our this is where we found the discrepancy when we went to the agriculture land use district section. And you can see here again is listed some of the things that are also in ag: materials-oriented industrial, intensive agriculture uses, mining uses. And then you get down to, in addition, the processing, storage, and sale of agriculture products and commodities which are not raised on the premises, riding or boarding stables, commercial kennels, veterinary clinics, and animal shelters. So our comprehensive plan discusses animal shelters, where we were calling them small animal boarding facilities. So we're going to make sure our language matches our comprehensive plan going forward. There's also some other uses listed in there, and we talk about the agriculture density, and then some of the changes that we want to make, and we can go back through I'll pull the code back up, but like I said, change the name in the code section to match the comprehensive plan. We were wanting to increase the acreage from 4 acres to 5 acres to be consistent with the comp plan. Edit other parts of the code that I discussed earlier, and potentially create a number 2, which is the non-arterial side of the code section. So we can go back to the code section as a reference, and I can switch to the 2 slides based on the things that you may want to discuss. that is the end of my presentation. I have the recommendation slide up. I can put that up again if you don't want to go forward and discuss, or if you want to hear from the public and then bring me back up, we can do that as well.
You want to have the, you want to have the members from the public? Okay. All right, anyone from the public wishing to speak, go ahead and come up, introduce yourselves. I'll put 3 minutes on the clock. And are you going to speak tonight?
I would, sir, like to help me check this out. The clarification on the 44510 language, you had the question why we're talking about 50 feet in the agricultural section. You're not talking about 50 feet in the agricultural section. It references you back to 4241, which is the arterial highway section. So I thought maybe somebody would actually point that out, but it gets confusing. 44510, the language in there actually references 4241, which has a 50-foot offset. So you have to kind of read them both simultaneously, but it's.
You'll say that again so we can.
445.
Madam Attorney, do you hear the numbers he's calling out so we can get some clarification?
44510 is general agricultural sections, which has a 300-foot offset. 4241 is commercial kennels on arterial highways. 4241 is also referenced in section 44510, and the only place the 50-foot offset is allowed is on an arterial highway. The 300-foot offset is allowed out in an area where you might have a 10-foot piece, 10-foot or 10-acre piece of property. Everybody is not going to have a 43 or 80 acre, 43 acre or 80 acre piece of property. And to address your comment, we're quite aware of what living in the country is all about. I grew up on a dairy and a feedlot. I know exactly what it's about. If that was intended to be addressed at anybody in particular, I got it. The particular piece of property that brought this up, I don't think is going to fit a 300-foot offset. But what it does have on it are two great neighbors. And what they've got next to them is at least one great neighbor that I'm married to, and one person up here talking to you who's fortunate to be married to her, who's willing to still work with them. I don't think you should change these ordinances. I think they will work. I think changing these would be a slippery slope. You could still have a situation where these two neighbors could work together and come up with a barrier, a noise barrier that could work in this situation. I'm still willing to do that. Everybody likes putting me on a clock. Here's my clock. I got 35 seconds left. If somebody wants to reach out to me by the end of this week, I close the business on Friday, and let's work together to find an actual noise expert to come up with something that's not going to be a vegetative barrier, because that's not going to work. I've hunted with dogs my entire life, or not my entire life, but I did a lot as a kid. A vegetative barrier is not going to work, but if they want to come up with a structural barrier that will work to satisfy this, in the 8 seconds I've got left, I'll tell them I'll be willing to work with it.
Can you, sir, can you just state your name real quick for
It's
the
still Greg.
online?
It's still Greg Graydon.
Greg what?
Graydon.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sometimes we have people that tune in and have never seen it before, so we double check. And any other members of the public wishing to speak? Seeing, okay, yes, ma'am. One more? Or one more so far?
So, Tiffany McClendon, I am the cause of this ruckus. Let's get that out. Goodness.
It's not a ruckus, it's just a discussion.
I hope not. Sometimes
Just a
it is.
discussion.
Sometimes it is. So, I wasn't even going to talk because I wanted this to go. So basically, so I'm watching that time. 4 years ago, I left my job at the school board after 22 years because I couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't. My husband said, "You don't have to work." I'm like, done it for 15 years, since I've been 15. Why, what? The same time, this is going to be very fast. Same time, my 2 Aussies had a litter of puppies. It was the best thing ever. I loved it. This is what God sent me to do. I'm going to raise these babies. So that's what I was going to do. We built a facility to breed dogs. That is perfectly acceptable on ag exempt land with no more than 3 litters a year. I took way too long to make decisions on parents. I would interview 25, 30 people and say no. So that would never, plus there's too many dogs in the world and there's not enough people to love them. About the same time that we were coming to that decision, my puppies, from the first and second litters were coming back. And would you watch the puppies because you have the place? Absolutely. I'm also grandma now. So I'm like, this is perfect. I get to be grandma to these dogs. So the dogs started coming, and it happened. It happened one at a time. I didn't mean for this to happen. It was word of mouth. I thought, well, hey, I have now, this little side hustle. I do have a Facebook page. I've been out. I think everybody has known that I've been here. And with that being said, I needed to be, Uncle Sam knows I exist. Everybody knows I exist. I need to do this correctly. Went to the city and said, hey, I'm a business and I want to have a business license. And y'all said, nope, you don't fit. And I'm like, but I want to fit. So this is kind of where we're at. In the 53 seconds that I have left, yes, my babies make noise. They are dogs, they bark. I let them run. I do not put them in crates. They have heated and cooled environments. I have a 10 by 10 room with a 10 by 10 outside room, and each of those rooms have their own outside area where these dogs get to exercise. I have 4 of those. The dogs there's 2 smaller ones. 2 of them are 10 by 6 because I needed room for a bath. So there's a bath in there as well. These dogs are not crated. They run, they play, they bark. I have probably got 20 letters from my customers that have been sent in on behalf. And when we get to that point, I think that you guys need to hear my customers. Done.
Perfect. Are any other members of the public wish to speak? All right, then I'll come back to the board. Stacy had a couple of things up here. I'll read what I wrote down. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. It helped me kind of keep my thoughts straight. We do not currently have a non-arterial road language anywhere, correct?
Correct.
On this kind of thing. The 7 to 9 made it concurrent with our regular noise ordinance. This is not for property specific. We're not trying to address her issue. This is going to be a comprehensive issue to address. So it's not being decided on based on the applicant or anything like that. And there was a difference between the housing setback and the run setback. So the housing was the 50 foot and the run was the 300 foot setback. Okay. So how do you want the feedback, Ms. Hectus? You want to go through? Is the bigger question whether or not we want to address this to begin with at all?
That's one question.
Okay.
That's one piece of it. And then the second is, if you do want to address it, what are the changes you want to make? And in those changes, do you want to have a number 2 option, the non-arterial option?
Okay. So the bigger so we'll start with number 1. Number 1 is, do we even want to speak to this in our code? We can just kind of, okay, Commissioner Farnsworth?
Stacy, even though we put this as in our ag, will the county recognize that, or would that be a problem for the county if they come out and say, well, this is actually a business? Is that going to be a problem with the county?
Not if it's in the city.
Okay. Is there a limit to the amount of dogs they can board at one time?
not currently.
We can put something like that in if the pleasure of the board is to put something like that in, yes, we could do that.
And are there any other dog boarders in the town other than this one?
I think there are. I don't know them.
Yeah, I'm talking about like a, I'm
Not,
talking
well,
about,
Pet Paradise meets the code because it's
Right.
on the
they're
arterial.
totally
So, on
different.
the arterial.
But yes, we have,
And they're a business that, they're not an ag, are they?
they are an ag. Pet Paradise is an ag.
Is it really considered ag?
The properties has a zoning of ag.
Are you, anything else? You got anything?
No.
Okay, Assistant City Manager?
Mr. Mayor, I want to clarify on a question Commissioner Farnsworth asked. I believe, Commissioner Farnsworth, you were asking about the tax status if it's ag. The property appraiser assesses taxes based off of use, not off of zoning. So it can be zoned whatever you want it to be zoned. They're going to look at what you're actually using the property for. Doesn't matter if it's ag, commercial, industrial, residential.
Commissioner Coleman?
So I'm gonna give you mine. I'm gonna start it off with, I agree with Mr. Garden. I don't think we need to be making any changes here. Leave it like it is. And that's where I'm at on this.
Leave the code as it is. Don't make any edits.
Mr. Mayor.
Leave it just like it is.
Can you put your microphone on, Commissioner Means on?
What do you mean by that, Coleman?
I mean, as long as it's an ag property.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're asking that.
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with it in the city. So.
Yeah, because these are kennels in ag. We have other zoning districts like commercial intensive that allow these types of.
So we don't have anything that speaks to this situation right now. Commissioner Coleman is saying, we'll leave it like that. We're not even gonna speak to it. We carry on the way we were.
I don't wanna tell a
As
business-
you're-
I don't
as-
wanna tell a business what to do.
As you're pondering that, Commissioner Maison, let me go to the manager real quick.
I just have two comments back to Commissioner Coleman. One, we need to fix some things in the code as it exists, regardless of whether or not we create a subcategory or another ordinance that speaks to small-scale rural kennels. Two, I love Mr. Graydon's comment that, hey, two neighbors can work it out. That's wonderful at small town. It puts staff in an untenable situation though, right? Either of these businesses are allowed, and I do think that there are multiple of these businesses that are happening in Newberry. So the direction to staff either needs to be, we don't want this, and if you know of one that exists, you need to address it, right? Or, yes, we believe there's a path forward to make this legal, and we want to take that, right? I love the idea that people can just be neighbors and figure it out, but I don't think that that's fair to ASO. I don't think that's fair to code enforcement. I don't think it's fair to staff, right? It's either allowed, and here's how you do it legally, or it's not allowed, right?
More than that, it's not supposed to address particular parties.
Right.
It's supposed to
So-
be more generic.
I mean, part of my thinking on this is we have a complaint driven code enforcement. So we don't drive around looking for stuff. If a neighbor calls up and complains about something, then we go and we figure out if it's allowed or if it's not allowed, right? And we address it that way. To date, I've never received a code enforcement complaint on any of the small scale kennels that are operating in Newberry, which again was sort of my first initial reaction to, well, we have an ordinance that speaks to commercial kennels, and I think we think of Pet Paradise. We don't have anything that speaks to 10 kennels or less, somebody doing this as a cottage industry type thing. So I didn't approach it ever as changing the ordinance. I approached it as, we need another ordinance that speaks to something separate, right? So my main goal here tonight is, please don't put staff in an unwinnable situation, right? Where it's a noise thing, and I'm telling you right now, I'm not gonna do that to the sheriff. By the time the sheriff gets that, it's gonna be low on their priority list of addressing noise complaints, especially for dogs in the country, right? They're not gonna get out here for hours. And then it's gonna be into, well, that wasn't my dogs making noise, that was the hunting dogs over there making noise, and they got confused. I don't think that's a good spot, right? So, I'm, like I say, we're in no rush on this. If you want to take time to think about that question, take time to think about that question. But and from my standpoint, there's either a path forward or there's not a path forward. But that not path forward means that we now need to go let all the folks that we are aware of know that you gotta shut
But we're
down.
not shutting nobody down, right? You would.
You would, if you,
Right now.
if you say leave the ordinance the way it is,
You would be.
then I would interpret that as you saying, go, if you know of a small scale kennel operating illegally, you need to go address it and shut them down. I'm just,
I didn't-
one or the other, right? I mean.
If we don't have a code to speak to it, what are we using as reasoning for that? I'm sorry.
We have our existing code.
Our
But our existing code doesn't address non-arterial.
Right, so that means
Correct.
everything that's off of a non-arterial, everything that's on a non-arterial would not be,
Operating
would
illegally.
be operating illegally.
I see, okay, I understand.
Now, we can
I think we need
carry
to-
on with the pretense of, hey, I haven't got a complaint about it. But to me, I'm not sure that that's fair either, once we know that something is happening and we don't have a legal path forward. So,
I think we need to have something that's more specific. And just going by what we're doing with the other board in place just doesn't help us down the line. If we have confusion now, we'll have confusion 5 years from now. So we need to have something that speaks to it specifically. Plus, you said you had information for the buffering. We want to get more information about that as well. So just saying we don't want it or want it, we don't have enough information, in my opinion, to make a decision on it because it's too vague. And right now, we should be making decisions on anything that's vague to us right now.
Do you, as a board, want to provide some offline direction back to Stacy to make sure that she understands what you're wanting to come back on a second discussion at this point? Or are there a couple other things that you already know you want to communicate here tonight? How about so can we just get a head nod then, that we do need to address it, Commissioner Mazon? Commissioner Long, yeah. Commissioner Farnsworth? Okay, well, there's your three already. So yes, we want to try to address this. So that moves us into how do we address it? I don't know that there was any changes to the existing items that you were talking about, that anybody had any heartache about. Scribner's errors, making consistent language, those sorts of things. I'm pretty sure we'd be okay with that. Is that fair to say as well, Commissioner Coleman?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, I just, I don't want to do anything that's going to jeopardize the kennel, and I don't want to do anything that's going to jeopardize the gardens on this. I mean, this whole thing is being done because of both of them, so.
Understood.
So, yeah.
And I think the staff is pretty clear on where you're at, I would think. Commissioner Clark?
Yeah, so what I said earlier is definitely in my wheelhouse for a discussion.
Okay.
Further. And I still have not heard, later we'll have another discussion about the noise abatement,
Yes,
which is coming.
not noise, just abatement, but you'll
Well,
see.
it's noise, dog barking abatement.
Well,
Something
what we're
that
bringing,
buffers,
yeah, what we're bringing you doesn't have, are you saying about this
The
ordinance or the
buffers.
next item on the agenda?
yeah, for the buffering that you
Yes.
said the jurisdiction may have, the other three
Oh, the ones
jurisdictions.
I'm gonna bring, yes,
Yes,
back when we
yes.
rewrite yes,
We'll
I'm
be
sorry.
glad to hear that. I'd love to
Yep,
hear what we can do.
Okay,
They're here right now and said they could work this out. He's an engineer, he understands noise buffering, so be glad to hear any of this for more information to figure this out.
And Commissioner Farnsworth?
I'm not 100% convinced that I would approve this, but I would like some more information regarding it. As far as Commissioner Clark said, the 300 feet, I think there should be a limit to the amount of animals that are boarded. And I'd really like to see if this is something that's going to be compatible with the neighbors. I don't want to put in, I personally wouldn't want to be listening to a bunch of dogs 50 feet from me barking all the time, so, but that's me.
So I'm hearing setback considerations and dog
Buffer
limit, and dog
buffer
limit
and dog limitation,
considerations.
Yep.
And Commissioner Long, or you want to add anything else to what you said a minute ago? No. And Commissioner Mazon, was there anything else?
Yeah, man. I echo Mark Clark. And I also hear what Monty's saying, but I've driven down these roads, and I will say this. While we're talking about like 10 dogs, 30 dogs, wherever it is, it could be 2 dogs making that sound, to be honest with you. But I do feel that there is a difference when it comes to existing versus coming into an appliance or bringing something new to someone that's already been there. There's a level of like bringing of
Grandfathering?
respect. Yeah, grandfather. Well, it's not so much grandfathered in. The people that live there is grandfathered in. But somebody that's wanting to exist a business there, they're the ones that are, I don't want to say imposing, but at the same time, kind of. So I see what he's saying when he says, we come here for the donkeys. There's a difference between, okay, you can say ag is a lot of sound. There's difference. I've been in ag. I've been out in the country. And there's a difference in cows, goats, chickens, donkeys, as opposed to like unfamiliar dogs, unfamiliar with each other, barking consistently. There is a difference. That's not ag. There's a difference in that. So, I mean, I feel that frustration as well. This is a tough one for me. It really is. But I echo Mark Clark. I do think it should be 10 acres. 5 acres, in my opinion, is ridiculous. I think that honestly, there should be a maximum of 10 dogs. What is the ordinance we have within the city of Newberry?
No number.
So in my house downtown, and I can have 30 dogs.
Theoretically.
Okay, well, I think that's something we need to work on.
There was something that was
That's insane.
There was something that was brought up in the PZB about the number. Do you remember what that was? Or Naeem, do you remember what that number was? Was it 50 dogs?
Yeah, something
50
about-
dog rings in my head, but I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Alachua County
Alachua County has
an ordinance that limits the number of dogs that you can have in your personal home.
Yeah, it's like 50 or
to
something.
50. Yeah.
That's
So, but even that doesn't
Insanity.
speak to hunting dogs.
Right.
Right.
But when it comes to like hunting dogs, I mean, and most dogs that are familiar with each other, the brothers and sisters, they will bark when they're like security, and I can appreciate that. But like I said, there's a difference in that type of barking than dogs that are like unfamiliar with each other and barking all the time at each other. There's a difference there. But anyways, I don't want to like elongate this.
Okay.
But that's how I feel with that. The soundproof, I think she said that she let them run. So are they in a run all the time? Yes. That's
Hold on,
fine.
hold on, we can't do this.
I can't ask
from
that
the,
question?
From the well, we can't just answer from the audience.
So Stacy, so then I would love to find out, because she said she let them run. So is there a place for them to go at night? Okay, so there is okay. So okay.
Yeah.
And is there hours?
7 to
As-
9. Well, our code is 7 to 9.
What about weekends?
It just says 7 to 9.
So it doesn't matter.
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay, 7 days a week. But I echo Clark, so I agree with him. I feel the same way. 10 acres, 300. I'd make it 500 setback, to be honest with you. But I'm cool with that. But I am interested in moving forward and interested to find out.
So again, the structure was one setback and the run area was a different setback. Do you understand the difference between?
I think yes.
you
You
have
have the location where they go in, which
Right.
is, I think they said,
Theoretically, they're just going in there to sleep or whatever.
yeah, which,
so-
do they make noise
But they
when they're
may-
in there? I mean, is it muffled? Is that the soundproof? Is that what
It
he's
would be
talking
in,
about?
it would be at least in a building. I
Yeah,
don't know
so
if
you
it's
get that muffled
soundproof,
sound.
but
I think the run should be like 300, 500 feet, in my opinion.
okay. You got some good notes there, Miss
Yep.
Hectus? Okay, all right. Hearing nothing further, we'll
Well,
move.
I do have one question.
Okay.
What was, Alachua County says 50 dogs. What is anybody's comfort level with how many dogs?
Like I said, if you out in the country, I'm like 10. That's me.
I mean,
I don't know how you regulate that.
Some people have 20 hunt dogs.
Well, hunt dogs,
You can have 20 to 30.
Well, this
Actually,
excludes,
I think you could regulate that because you'll count the kennels, right? So
could
one
do
dog,
this
I can go out and I can say, one put in at 9 o'clock. I don't think that's gonna be tough, but you could count the number of kennels and say, you only got a number of kennels. And I would say for that, I think the market also regulates, right? The people that are coming to these boutique kennels, they're coming there because they don't want, they want that environment where they're gonna get
It's
somebody
a little bit more
watching them
one-on-one.
one-on-one, right?
Uh-huh.
So they're not gonna put 5 dogs in one kennel, right? I think we could regulate that part.
You can certainly bring back, once you look at some of those other ordinances, you can bring us the feedback
Okay.
of what those are, I
so
suppose.
I can bring this back as a discussion item with the potential edits that we will be making on your
Yep.
behalf.
Yep.
With highlighted areas for discussion, meaning,
Yep.
let's think about the number of animals, let's
Yep.
think about the acreage again, I'll put them in there as choices,
Setback.
and then the setbacks and the buffers.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
Everybody good with that? Everybody
Thank you
happy?
very much.
Okay. Lauren, get ready. It's your turn. Item number 9 is discussion for amending the nuisance code and creating an abatement process to improve property conditions. You already scared off Commissioner Long, but ladies, you have the floor.
Good evening.
Again, this is another discussion item, guys.
Which way do we go? Oh, yeah.
The other way.
Other way?
There you go. I'm not used to the roll
Oh,
There it
that's
is.
weird. Good evening. Greta Moreau, Code Enforcement. Lauren Yetter, Community Development.
So tonight, we were bringing to you a discussion on the nuisance abatement, and we wanted to discuss some possible changes to the code and discuss with you, get some feedback from you if you wanted to proceed with abatement process. Abatement would be more layman terms, clean and liens. So through our discussion, we've changed a little bit in how we want to present this evening, so be patient with me and we'll get through this. So recommended actions tonight was to provide direction to staff on amending the existing nuisance code to expound upon and include definitions. We have, we believe, looking through the code, sufficient code. Our problem right this second is in many different places. So we're going to bring back to you and potentially bring it all back together into one location. So it's much clearer and easier for our citizens to be able to locate that. Second thing is provide direction to staff and including the abatement process to the nuisance code and how to fund that process. So I'll get with a lot deeper in that. Hang on. I want to give you a little bit of definition. Nuisance may include, but it's not limited to the hazardous buildings, dead or hazardous trees, junk and trash, and excessive property growth. Abatement may include, but not limited to, the boarding of demolition of the hazardous buildings, removal of dead or hazardous trees, removal of junk and trash, and mowing of the properties that have the excessive growth. I wanted to touch on this evening, give you a little bit of what my process is, just in case you're not aware of it. And then that way, later in the conversation, it will make a little bit more sense. I'm sorry, am I taking over?
No,
Come
no,
on
no,
back
no.
up here.
I didn't want to crowd you.
So my process is as follows. Anytime I receive a complaint, first thing, of course, I go out and I have to put eyes on that complaint. I have to visually see the complaint. Once I do that, then I write a courtesy notice. On those notices, I give an average of 30 days to come into compliance. Now, again, with my process here, this is not if it's a life safety issue. That's a completely different animal. This is just the standard overgrowth, junk and trash, cars, whatever the case may be, okay? After I give the 30 days, I go back out, put eyes on the property again for a reinspection. If they have not come into compliance, then I issue a notice of violation. Again, another 30 days attached to the notice of violation for them to come into compliance. Go back out, reinspect again. If they've not complied again, now I'm issuing an order for a special magistrate hearing.
Our hearings right now for this year are every other month. So potentially, depending on when I go back out and set it for the next hearing, they now have an additional set days. Could be less than 10, could be close to 30. After the hearing, the magistrate, or at the hearing, the magistrate's given them an order. Generally, he is also given them 30 days to comply with his order. Okay? Then I go back out after the 30 days, set eyes again, non-compliant, not in compliance. I then issue an order asking for a request for a non-compliance hearing. Now we're back before the magistrate for non-compliance. At that stage is when the magistrate assess fines, daily fines and fees, and that's when I issue the lien on that particular order. So as you can see through my process, there's at least 90 days, if not more, that I've been constantly working with the property and potentially the owner, if they're local, or if they're not haven't abandoned the property. I've worked with them trying to get them to come into compliance. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, but before Ms. Greta moves on, this is probably the most frequent question I get from elected officials when we get into a code enforcement issue. Did anyone tell them? Okay? Some people, we give a courtesy, but we always give a courtesy notice. Some people respond to that courtesy notice by saying, I'm so sorry, I didn't know I was out of compliance. I can fix that right now. Other people respond to that courtesy notice by using sexually abusive language against our employees, right? But no matter how they respond, we respond professionally and we follow this guideline, right? We follow this process. Everybody gets the courtesy. Everybody gets the notice. Everybody has multiple opportunities along the way, long before we get into anything assessing fines or fees, to come into compliance, to have the conversation, right? So the answer to the question of, did we reach out to them and tell them? That answer is always going to be yes, because the process doesn't start until they get the courtesy notice. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, I can tell you in one instance that it can happen to you when the whole department leaves, then you don't get that courtesy notice. So there is some caveats to that notice.
But no one's going to leave under current
It's a small
management.
asterisk.
Yeah.
Once again, this is not for ag properties, right? What y'all do, you don't go out to ag properties.
Citywide.
You can be out of compliance on some things in ag, right? So if you're out
They
of
don't like
compliance,
the way their fence looks, or it's broke,
I don't-
messed up, or it's rusted, or.
you're doing a business that's not allowed in ag,
Mm-hmm.
right? That kind of a thing. So
And you don't go out there unless you're called by a citizen, correct?
Correct. Yeah, well, if I receive a complaint. I can receive complaints from staff. I can receive complaints.
And Ms.
From-
Greta, just to clarify, you're using the word "my process," but it is ours. It's our
Yes.
responsibility here. She's just the enforcer of it, and this is how she goes through enforcing our policy.
Yes,
So just to understand, it's
So sorry.
not your fault,
You
it's
will always
ours.
hear me say that.
So just, I don't want people to think that you're off on your own doing your own thing.
Yeah.
This is what we've got it in line. Okay,
Correct.
you got.
All right. I'm just going to show a couple little pictures, obviously here, just so that we all understand. This is what I would consider a dangerous structure. Of course, this is not Newberry, so the pictures I show you is not anything local. This is what we would consider junk and trash. No.
Hitting a little too close to home.
I
there,
didn't
Monty?
hear that. I didn't hear that.
Golly.
This is excessive growth, overgrown. So what we would like to have a discussion with you and get feedback on is the abatement of properties. Since I've been with you here in Newberry, I've already abated 3 properties. Now, that was always done through the CRA. So I've partnered with the CRA in a couple of those projects, and because they were within the CRA district, the funding was able to take care of that. One was a demolition of a mobile home that was on Newberry Lane that was there for quite some time. And then the other two projects were dangerous trees. One had already, a portion of the tree had already collapsed on top of a residence with a family. The rest of the tree, very large, and it was gonna be not too long after that. And then the third project was some more dead pine trees that were pretty close to the road that would have eventually either injured someone driving by, walking by, or potentially even taken out our power lines. So we just did that project a couple of weeks ago. What I would like to, yes, sir.
Easement property, or is that truly private property?
Private properties, private properties. Now, with that, just maybe to ease your mind, is I'm coursing, this is property owners that we're discussing, and
On our city easements, I know we can,
we do,
we got crews and.
right, yes, sir. Yeah. So what we would like to have a clearer understanding is where you would like us to go with this potentially, if you would, with continue with abatements, having some sort of process in place, which we have not, the city has not had one. I say we again, the city has not had one. If you would like us to continue to move forward with this. 3 areas that I wanted to talk about was, would you like us to see us do some abatement on homestead versus non-homesteaded properties? Authorized by owners, not authorized by owners? Are they occupied, not occupied? These are some areas of questions that I've had with upper staff about it, and was suggested we come to you and say, see what you would like us to potentially look at and do, if you would even like us to come up with an abatement process so that we can continue going down this road to, you know, try to take care of some more properties.
Is the old Gulf Station is the old Gulf Station one that we're gonna
So the Gulf
take the
Station
CRA and tear it down?
is, well, right now, the CRA, the Gulf Station, myself and the building official constantly watching it, it is not, does not meet the criteria for dangerous structure at this stage. So, it's not potentially on our list.
So the CRA handles this as of right now.
So what we've been
Just in
doing
the CRA
is,
area.
yes,
Just
it's
in the
only
area.
within the CRA district. So we do have quite a few properties, obviously, that don't fit within the CRA district, and we don't want to there's that word again.
We the city.
Yes.
It's fine with me.
Want to leave somebody out that potentially would need the service, would need help because they're not within the district, in the CRA district. So saying that, other thing we like to discuss, and if this is something you want to move forward with, is how we fund it. You know, that'd be something maybe later we have a discussion about, but it's something to keep in mind is potentially funding some projects.
And
I think I would
what
like
is-
to, go ahead, I'm sorry, Don.
What is the amount of funding you've used already within the CRA? So we'll have a idea of what it looks like.
So the first project, that was that was not 2025, that was 2024. Sir?
Tearing down the trailer?
Yes, sir, and that was 3,500, I believe.
Okay.
And then the tree, 2025, we did the one tree, and that was about 3,800. And then the there were 7 pines that we did last month, and that was 4,200.
Mr. Mayor, can I, just before we go too far down, I would say the answer to Ms. Guerra's question doesn't have to be uniform across the board, right? There could be one answer in the CRA district, and I would also posit that we already have multiple ways. We have blight grants, we have facade grants, we have ways in the CRA that we can help people, right? There could also be the clean it and lean it, which we had back in Mayor Warmack's day, right, where you cleaned it and you sent a bill. You could do that to the non-homestead investors that just buy property and they're somewhere else and they're just not paying attention. So it doesn't have to be a one size fits all. There could be a multifaceted approach. And the answer of of how much you want to do, that really comes to you guys as the CRA board inside the CRA. How much do you want to fund,
That's
right?
why I want to see what was already
Right.
in the works of what you've already done to kind of gauge what we might need down the line.
We also use CRA money to demolish the old car wash that, my stance on the BP station, the old car wash, they may not meet somebody else's standard, but they meet mine. I think they become, what's the phrase, when you're inviting people to come in and cause a problem? And
Attractive nuisance.
attractive nuisance, thank you, right? And we saw that we've seen it with the BP, we saw it with the old car wash. Bad things were happening there, so it was happy to finally have a way. I think System Manager Dowsley also has a comment.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I was just going to mention that we've been budgeting about $10,000 a year in the CRA specifically for abatement of code violations. And you've been spending it, as Greta mentioned, most of them are about $5,000. So we're able to do about 2 each year in the CRA.
I got one caveat to that, so I'm sorry. When Miss Greta does this, it's also with the Lions Club. It's with 20 volunteers from the high school. So that cost that we're doing is not, if we just had to pay to do it, it would be a lot higher. She has really worked hard to pull the community together to get lots of volunteers and have cleanup days and like it. So they do a great job at trying to keep the cost down.
Also,
Commissioner Farnsworth?
Yeah. First of all, is a nuisance abatement discussion. I thought we were going to be talking about Commissioner Coleman, so this threw me totally off. But what about? So whenever we put money out to do these items, we don't. The home or the property owner, they do not have to pay us back for that.
So I was going to mention that. So with the CRA thus far, there are no liens, and it's just CRA money helping the families out.
Greta, there's a
Yes.
lien on the trailer.
Oh, there is. I'm sorry, because that was my code case. That was initially a code enforcement case. And yes, there is a lien on that particular one, not the 2 with the trees.
We talk about the BP station and all. What about the old cold storage?
I currently do not have any open cases on that property.
Okay.
My only thing here, and we'll get to Commissioner Clark, is enticing or rewarding people not maintaining their property. And then it gets to a point where we're dealing with it. I think the process can address some of that and under the sort of the clean it and lean it, because I'm with Commissioner Farnsworth. I don't want to be able to just let people walk all over us and do all this sort of stuff and not getting paid back for it. So I think the lean angle is probably pretty important for us. I understand the CRA is a little bit different because ideally if we're improving the area, the tax values are going up and that just puts more money into the CRA district, so to speak. But Commissioner Clark, you had your light on.
Both of y'all kind of hit on it. My question is, on the private property owners, it's on them to abate anything. And if it becomes that, then it becomes a code enforcement magistrate lien. I mean, I'm not into budgeting money on the city's money and taxpayers' money to clean up really anything that's on them to do. If it's a commercial building, if it's the car wash, if it's the BP, it's on them. So if we have to do something, I think that's your prerogative, your leeway, that you think we need to do something right away. And if there's money there, but I think any of this other money needs to be budgeted. And it probably should be, you make the command decision, you're on boots on the ground. And if the pine trees are going to hurt or kill someone, sure enough, get them out. If you got the money, do it. But as far as these others, I don't think it's in my purview to take taxpayers' money and clean up anybody's stuff. So that's my only, I think it would be a case by case to me, and a situation dictates that you would have to come and ask for some money to do something. We budget money every year for abatement through the.
Only in the CRA.
That's right.
So you're.
Nothing outside of that. So that's my point.
You would lean on, if we got to the point where we're assuming a cost to do something that we lien that property.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the piece that's missing though is we still, if we're gonna do that, we're gonna come out of our pocket
Understood. And you need a
initially.
budget.
And we need a budget for that out of pocket initially,
I'm with you.
and then we'll
I'm
lean
with
it
you.
back.
We're with you. We're with you. Mr.
I mean, they do a great job with it. I just think they already do their job, and she's already done some. Let them run. I think the city manager, right here, we got plenty of
Yep.
smart people.
Yep.
So.
He meant assistant.
She's just adding on the fact that we're not currently budgeted to outlay any of this money up front. That's what she was adding on. Mr. Lee?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, just 2 points. First off, we are drafting a policy for the CRA abatement process. We don't currently have one, but we are drafting a policy to bring to the CRA board. They put some parameters around it, particularly the ones we're looking at right now, are you have to have a code enforcement violation or be in danger of receiving one, and then something around either being elderly or impoverished, or to Commissioner Clark's point, you can't just get the free money. And then second point to Director Hectus's point, if we file a lien, we do eventually get the money back, but it isn't
Oh, yeah.
eventually.
Big capital E.
Yeah.
Capital E.
Just don't bank on getting the money back.
So
anytime soon.
if we come back to what you have on the board, if it was me, I would be in favor of all of these things. Truthfully, I think there's situations that dictate every one of those need to apply and not be exclusive of any particular person. But what's the pleasure of the board? Commissioner Coleman? We'll just go down the line. Commissioner Clark? Commissioner Farnsworth? No, there's three then. You got three. And funding, we'll have to address that in budget.
Mr. Mayor, I'd say
A
by the
budget
time we
season.
get,
And I think, so budget season and potentially maybe by budget season, we have a list of, hey, this project would cost X, this would be this, this would be this, and just kind of have a list for us. But I don't know, if you're talking $40,000-$50,000, that would be tough, but maybe 20, 25 would potentially be a little bit more realistic or doable, so. Okay, anything else that you need from us? Robin did a lot of talking, what's Batman say?
I was going to say, Mr. Mayor, can we ask Lauren a really hard question?
Doesn't it go past 90 days though? I mean, you go out there, you do the 30-day, and then they finally get back where you make phone calls, this kind of stuff. But so one in particular I can remember, this gentleman drug it out for almost 6 months before it even got to where you had to have a magistrate. So it's what I'm getting at is it's a lot longer than 90 days, which is fine. I mean, it's not like we're going in there and saying, hey, you got to go in front of the magistrate. I can tell you're not going to deal with me or whatever.
So let me step back for just a second. So through any of my process, if I'm in contact with them and I see some progress being made, I will extend that grace period to them, obviously. If they're attempting to make progress, I'm not going to jump to the next stage of it. I'm going to work with them and continue, but I have to, every time I give them the time, they tell me how long they need, and when I come out, as long as I see progress, they can get more time.
Mm-hmm. Good. That's good.
The other thing I'll add here is maybe we got to be consistent. If we're going to have the magistrate make the decisions and they do levy these things, we can't have them coming back before the board and crying uncle and we give them without other circumstances, we don't.
No, we're
Need to-
making that change in the code, period.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Anything else? We're good?
Thank you.
Okay. I think we're on to comments.
Public doesn't talk on that?
Do you want, does the public have any comment on that? We don't, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, going once, going twice?
Oh,
I can't decide if you're trying to
He's
Okay.
leaving.
All right, well, let's move on to comments. Citizens, 5 minutes.
Who are you?
Hold on.
I'm running against you.
Hold on. I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding. Jason McGee, citizen. I sent you guys an email earlier this afternoon. I just wanted to read it and put it in for the record. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, what seems like a lifetime ago now, I pushed really hard to bring AMI to our city. We got it done, and now residents can see real-time usage. Bills are accurate, waste is down, and we're way ahead of many towns, both small and large. We're ahead of Gainesville right now. This is pretty cool. But what I see, the big payoff is still ahead. We need to harness what we have and use that data to tame peak demand and cut our FMPA wholesale costs. As you all know, FMPA bills, they bill us heavily on demand charges, which are based on our share of the single highest system-wide peak for 1 hour out of the year. Whatever that peak is, we pay that for the entire 365 days. Yeah, I was shocked when I learned that first time. So we have one bad spike, like we had when everybody was blasting their heat a couple weeks back. That's going to follow us for the entire year. That locks in higher capacity costs for the next 12 months. The new homes we have built that are added to this system, they can make it tougher to control this, but we can fight back. Our census AMI already delivers granular, real-time meter data. We could use this to alert residents. Hey, we got a peak event coming up. You know, we send out mass text to our ratepayers. Sorry, I'm lost here. If we could shave a few megawatts off of that peak hour, and we could save thousands and pass that straight to our ratepayers. We could take it even further with simple AI on our existing data. Forecasting peaks accurately, disaggregating usage. We can show when someone's using the AC or the pool pump, detect anomalies early, and enable smarter nudges. Census systems nationwide support this. There's no big new hardware. We just have smarter analytics. This protects us from growth eating savings, eases storm strain, and keeps our rates down. I'd suggest we start small. Do a pilot peak alert program and a basic AI forecasting for the next 6 months. Measure the results and then scale to what I've always envisioned. And Dallas can attest to this. When we went up the time of use rates for taxpayers, we've talked about it for years. I want to see it happen. And we've got to take these next steps to get to that point. I've advocated for AMI because I saw this potential. We've rolled it out slowly to avoid pitfalls, and it's been a big help with storm mitigation and planning. Now it's time to take this next step. Let's realize it for lower bills and a stronger grid. I urge you all to direct staff to explore AI-enhanced peak management and come up with a plan to start implementing the tools at our disposal. We're barely scratching the surface on this technology, and I think there are a lot of easy wins we can pick up here at minimal cost, but big savings to our ratepayers. Thank you.
All right. Any other citizens? Any?
All right, good morning, Mr. Mayor, commissioners, and neighbors. Sorry, good evening. Listen, it's been a very long week. So yes, good evening, sorry. My name's Naeem Joseph Urchad, and last time I was here, I announced my intent to run for city commissioner. And now I stand here tonight truly grateful and honored and excited to finally and officially announce that I am running for Newberry City Commissioner. Newberry is not just where I live, it's where our family grows, where we pray and grow our faith together, where our kids play, where we build relationships, where we build friendships, where we invest our time and energy. This community has given my family so much, and I feel a deep responsibility to give back through service. Most of you have seen me at these meetings serving as an appointed board for our city. I ask the questions not to challenge for the sake of challenging, but just to bring clarity. When something's unclear, our residents deserve answers. When decisions are made, they deserve to understand the whys behind them. I believe informed citizens make a stronger city. We are in a season of growth, and growth can be a blessing, but only if it's handled responsibly. We must protect public safety, be wise with our infrastructure planning, support our parks and recreation, and make decisions that make long-term sense, not just for today, but for our next generation. I'm stepping forward to serve because I care deeply about the direction of our city and the decisions we make. I believe leadership is about doing the homework, asking the right questions, and making thoughtful choices that stand the test of time. I believe in listening carefully, weighing the facts, and treating every conversation with respect. We may see issues differently at times, and that is part of a healthy community. But my approach will always be grounded in fairness, transparency, and doing what is best for Newberry as a whole. I am grateful for this opportunity. I'm excited for what lies ahead, and I humbly ask for your support, your prayers as we begin this journey together. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, were you getting up also? Okay, come on down.
Good evening. My name is Donna Graydon, and thank you for allowing me to voice my comments regarding Special Exception 25-02 and Ordinance 4.2.41. My husband Greg and I are neighbors of Tiffany and Eddie McClendon, owners of ET Mutt Hut, and have considered them good friends for at least five years or more. They have been great neighbors and helped out when Greg had health issues and his mother was failing in health. There were multiple times I called Tiffany to say we weren't going to make it home in time to feed our horses, dogs, and cats, and she gladly said she would take care of it. No problem. Quite honestly, they were a godsend. I tell you all of this because it portrays our close friendship and what it has meant to Greg and I and me. However, I can't help but think this friendship will never be what it once was. The first we were even aware there were plans for Newberry to change ordinances and potentially approve the special exception was when we saw the posted public notice sign and received a letter in the mail. This led to inquiries on our part and a meeting at City Hall with Ms. Hectus, Community Development Director, on January 26th for more information regarding this application. This is relevant when the comment has come up that we have never complained about the noise coming from their kennel. We haven't complained prior to now for two reasons. One, we are good neighbors and didn't want to complain to friends. Two, we didn't feel it necessary. When the first comment from Tiffany when visiting at our house since the inception of her boarding kennel in 2023 has always been, "I'm so sorry it's so loud over there." Quite honestly, when she started boarding just 2 dogs in 2023, along with her dogs, it wasn't so bad. But now, with what at least seems like from the noise level, 7 to 12 dogs on any given day, the noise is unbearable for my husband and I to enjoy time outside, on our porch, in the yard, or down at our roping arena. The future capacity of dogs with the proposed commercial kennel is quite concerning. As Greg and I are nearing retirement in just a few years, it's time we have been waiting for our entire careers for. To spend time in the house we built in 2008 on family land we bought from my parents in 1996. Just as ET Mutt Hut is dear to Tiffany's heart, so is this property to me. Growing up in the quiet country, raising horses and cattle has been all I have ever really known and enjoy. A little history. My parents, Dewey and Pauline Lee, moved to Gainesville from Miami in 1965 when my father's job with Miami Elevator Company brought him to this region. We moved to our current property in 1969 when I was just 3 years old. I have spent most of my life right here on our property. I have gone to school, kindergarten through 12th grade, with some of you or your family members. In the late 80s, my dad sold off some of the land, and since that time, more people have moved down this little rut road off the Limelight Road, Holder Grade, as many Newberryans know it, to find the peace and quiet my family and I have enjoyed for over 57 years. And we had that peace and quiet until a couple of years ago when the dog kennel expanded in capacity and has gotten louder and louder. This is why I would ask the City Planning and Development Board and our city commissioners to not change Ordinance 4.241 and vote against Special Exception EC 25-02, allowing E.T. Mutt Hut to become a commercial kennel. Because as commercial kennel, the capacity would most assuredly increase, thereby increasing the noise level and the traffic flow exponentially on our already highly traveled rut road, Northwest 32nd Avenue, and Limelight Road of Northwest 282nd Street, also allowing potential future owners of the McClendon property to expand capacity as well as expansion of the kennel footprint and associated outbuildings for said commercial kennel. If approved, our quiet rural community made up of 6 other residences down this little road, all searching for the same peace and quiet my parents sought when moving from Miami, will most assuredly be lost forever, only become a noisy piece of land no one can come home to after a long day of work to get the rest and time to decompress one needs to battle work and life the following day or to enjoy a well-deserved retirement years. Thank you for your time. I apologize for the dry mouth. Thank you.
No problem. All right, thank you. Any other citizen comments? All right, you got 5 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Leiser, and I just want to share what I hear from my home with you guys. Like Dana, I've been living there for a long time, and we have the property there for a long time. Since they moved in 2023, like you said, we haven't had that peace that we used to have before. The noise is not feasible to be stopped with any kind of bamboo, any kind of fencing that they are planning to, they talked before in this meeting. So I would like, if they are not bad neighbor, they are good neighbor, like they say, but it's just the noise. You come home and it's barking 24/7, even at home at night. I live far away from them, and I live in 20 acre far, and I walked all the way down, and I can hear that door barking, barking, barking. What about when you bring a dog that doesn't belong to you and you put it in a kennel and then going out to play or doing all that? Do you think that dog that doesn't know that other dog will keep quiet? Have you guys gone to any humane society to go and check it out what the dog's doing? Barking, barking, barking. And when the person like them, they want to retire, they want to come home and sit in their porch. I saw them building the house, and now they cannot even enjoy it. I feel sorry for my own neighbor too, even for myself. When you come home and you want to sit in your porch, you can't because the dogs are barking. Even me doing that, even cutting the grass, walk, 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 walk. Will you guys, any one of you here, will buy a property that you have for sale and say a beautiful home that they have, oh, my property for sale. Oh, no, but it's a kennel next door. What would you guys say? Would you guys buy it? Will you buy? Will you buy? Will any one of you will buy it? No. They will say, hello, and they will say, oh, what a beautiful home. Bark, bark, bark. Oh, see you later. That's it. So now I own that piece of property there, and I will sell one of my land. Now, will they buy if there is a kennel there? I don't think so. And now it's not the living, only the living thing that we are missing now, that in the dirt road that we have, he has to keep the dirt road.
Make sure you stay closer to the microphone.
Oh, the dirt road that we have is a private road, and now he has to take care of that. When somebody comes to take a dog in the morning, that is one trip. Going back is another trip. 4 trips a day, taking just one dog. Can you imagine 50 dogs, 20 dogs? Because that will be increasing. And can you imagine right now, I hear like 10 or 12 dogs. And from there, far away. You don't think they live there. 50 feet is not feasible. Even 300 feet is not feasible for the noise that those dogs make. And they are no small dog. They are big dog. When you have a business, you are not gonna tell the person, I said, oh, bring me your dog. Will have to be smaller. You know, you're trying to make money, and I understand. Business is a business, but you cannot stop the dog barking. And it's not feasible to have 300 feet, 5 acres. I live in 20, and I have 2 more acres next to her, 22 acres. And I still, all the way down, I can hear those dogs barking. Day, night, Sunday, and Monday. So, oh, my microphone. Oh, Sunday, when they come home, or I can come home, and I want to be like just sitting right there, bark, bark, bark. Who want to be living like that? I don't think you would like to do that, especially when you start with 10 dogs, and then, oh, can you, come on, please, take 2 more. Okay, yes. Okay, yes. And then there is more money, but you are disturbing all the neighborhood because one person, even friend or no friend, bring this kennel to a peaceful, enjoying home that we used to have before. Thank you for your time.
Yes, ma'am. Any other citizens? City manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to respond to both because I think both were worth. I only begin this conversation with we haven't received a code enforcement complaint because that's the policy set up here. So, and I want to reiterate to the commission, that is your policy. You can change that policy. We may need more code enforcement officers, but you can change that policy. But right now, it's even across the board. We only respond if we get a complaint, right? If we change the policy, that could be different. But I know that some of you are going to say, well, what are we doing about this? Why are we doing this? What about that one over there? Which is generally what happens when our code enforcement officer goes to a home that someone has complained about. The first thing that resident says, well, what about that one over there, right? Why are you knocking on my door? Why aren't you knocking on that door? Why aren't you knocking on that door? Right now, with this policy, we can say, we haven't got a complaint about that. But also, guess what that resident just did? They made a complaint. They said, what about that house over there? So again, the commission can change that policy, but right now, staff is following the policy of being a complaint-driven code enforcement. I agree completely about AMI. I think that we are ready to go to the next stage, but I also think that the only way we go to the next stage is that we bring somebody in who knows AMI and helps mine that data. AMI gives us so much data. Somebody has to be there looking at the data, compiling the analysis, reading that for us, giving us reports, guiding how we get to the next step. So, which leads into my next comment. Staff is certainly following all the conversations that are happening in Tallahassee about property tax. I'm not going to attempt to join that conversation because it's too volatile. We don't know what's going to come out of the Senate. We don't know what the governor's going to engage in, those kind of things. So once Tallahassee figures it out, we'll figure out a response to it. However, in our last budget cycle, we kept this narrative the whole time. We need to look for alternative sources of funding because we all believe that something is going to come out of Tallahassee. Tallahassee keeps promising that it's not going to be harmful to the municipalities, but when you ask them how, that part of the conversation gets a little bit shallow, right? And so back to the AMI, in order for me to hire a new employee just to mine the AMI, I got to know, are we cutting back or are we going to be able to move forward? Because I agree completely with the resident. The savings and potential there is enormous. The ability for Newberry to stay on the cutting edge is enormous. But there's no one left on this staff that has an extra 40 hours a week to sit there and read that data. I just tell you, that's not happening, right? And that's about what it would take at this point. Somebody has to sit there and help guide us through that process and mine that data. That concludes my comments, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. And our city attorney has none. Madam Clerk? She has none. Commission, I'll start at the other end because Commissioner Maison is feverishly writing notes down here. So, Commissioner Coleman.
USA. I never watch hockey.
Oh, you're
I
talking
know
about hockey.
nothing about hockey, but it made me feel so great to be an American yesterday. It was unbelievable. Oh, the women, that's right, they won too. Sorry. Yeah. Huh?
You know, she's.
Oh, I know.
Keeps up with it.
Yeah. Last thing is, when it comes to this, I don't know, we call this an ordinance with the kennels and stuff like that. Guys, we're gonna have to get this right. Some of it I was, I had the perception that like the two people that are dealing with this right now, I actually left that last time we had a meeting, I just thought, well, oh, they're getting along, or, tonight has really changed that. And I'm one of those guys that I hate just where government has to take care of something all the time. And I'm sure that y'all do too. But it seems like in this situation, it could end up being more and more. And even somebody had brought up about hunting dogs. I'm sure neighbors will probably get real tired of that because there's really no number on some of these guys that's got these hound dogs. So, I think it's very imperative that we get this right for our citizens. So I'm glad we didn't just have this discussion and we're going to, let's take care of it tonight. So, and I can't wait to see the way this goes. And that's all I got.
Commissioner Clark.
Just great discussion across the board with this, and we'll keep ironing this out till we figure out something that's good for everybody. And other than that, I'd say God bless our troops and first responders, and thank all those that protect this nation and this community and everybody. So that's all I got.
Commissioner Farnsworth.
I would like to say that the state of Newberry fair went very well, and it was well received by everybody.
Except for getting cut off.
They said that was the best part.
Hey, I hear you.
And after talking to a bunch of people and a lot of feedback and a lot of people asking me about running again, I will pull a Jason McGehee and say I will run, but this is going to be my last term, win or lose. So, so we're in it to win it, and I appreciate all the support and the people that have given me the encouragement to continue, because I was debating in my mind whether I wanted to or not, and with the reinforcement from my fellow commissioners, mayor, manager, and citizens, I will endeavor on. The other thing is I have a neighbor that has a dog. I work from home, and that dog barks all day long while I'm sitting in my office trying to do my work, and I know how irritating and aggravating that is. I can't imagine 10 dogs barking all day around me. So I would hope we can come up with some solution that will work for everybody, and we'll go from there. And that's all I got for now, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Long.
I don't have much. I'm glad to be here in DC with all that snow. But I like discussion tonight. We got to kind of get a little more defined with all our ordinances, so it makes more sense for everybody to have a clear understanding with agriculture or in the city limits. We got to have that really more defined than trying to figure it out on the fly. Because one neighbor had one issue, and 5 years later, somebody else had the same issue a different way. So we got to kind of figure that out a little bit better. And other than that, we had a great State of the City address. Great put together job, gentlemen, and staff, but mine was great, you know.
Ours was fine. I don't know what
Yeah, mine was great. I did a great job. No matter many takes me and Jordan did, but it was my great first one. So, great job, Tim. Also,
Thank
but that's about it.
Some commissioners had to be bleached their ending because they got a little strange. I'm just saying, except for good cutoff, right? Well,
It didn't turn on.
I turned it off. Are we good?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, nice turnout. I always love when I see residents come in and voice their opinion. That means that someone's listening. I love our staff. I love our staff. I love our staff. Thank you. I love our city manager. Thank you. I think they never quit when it comes to moving forward with this city and making it better for our citizens and not only themselves but us. With that being said, a couple things. The zip line off of 235. I wanted to advertise for those guys a little bit here. They're about 25 minutes away from Gainesville, 2 hours away from Jacksonville, Tampa, and Orlando. Right now, they have a deal going right now, $50 Friday, 3-line tour. You do a 3-line tour. Their zip lines range anywhere from 494 feet to 1,300 feet. Unlimited views, zipping over Hale Quarries. Now, maybe you can help me with this, you guys. So, do you know why they call it Hale Quarries? Out of curiosity.
Because that area is named Hale.
That hill, yeah, that area is named. I didn't know that. I did not.
Unincorporated.
I did not. Unincorporated. Yep. I did not know that.
You got Half Moon too.
Half Moon.
Somebody lives over there.
Living that
And it also have beautiful hiking trails. They have 6 lines with 1 mountain zip lining coming soon. I don't know if you knew that, which is really nice. So if you guys are looking forward to booking, you can book at ziphillquarries.com.
Don't meet the weight requirement. Don't meet the weight requirement.
Oh, well, that's on you guys. We had a good time. But
Not getting on that.
You might go swimming.
So since Chad Scott left, I'm gonna give her this one. I thought Monty was gonna tell like a little dog joke, man. You were leaning towards, but I thought you were. So what did the police officer, do when he saw a dog giving birth on the side of the sidewalk? He gave her a ticket for littering. That was pretty good. Come on. See, all the females can appreciate that. You guys.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. All right. The only thing that I know about the potential property tax shortcoming, DeSantis had told me that they taken enough at the state level to backfill any shortcoming at the city or the county level. My concern is that trying to get that money out of the state would potentially become a political issue and a political football. So that's one comment on that. I do appreciate everybody's hard work that went into the State of the City address. I thought it was great. I thought the videos were great. I honestly don't know why those did get cut off. Like I said at the meeting, because they were fine in the dry run. We have a Newberry Notables coming up on March 12th. We have a Reignite the Light coming up on March 26th. I wanted to give additional gratitude to Tortillas, Mitchell's Stonehouse, Zizania Sofra, for the Taste of Newberry before the city, State of the City address. And if you didn't know already, Newberry Lane and 235 is now a 4-way stop. If you missed everything and somehow you're watching YouTube tonight in this meeting, that is now a 4-way stop, and do make sure that you stop. Do make sure that you stop. That's all I have, and we are adjourned.